going on, y'all? Jared Sandler here with you. Happy Monday. Time now for our Monday Hi-5, which during the football season is always five thoughts from yesterday's batch of games. We'll do our Cowboys video, of course, not today, but tomorrow with the Cowboys playing on Monday Night Football. Let's start with the big QB showdown of the weekend, Brady versus Rodgers. It was Fox's NFL Game of the Week. The A-team was there, Joe and Troy. It was the third time these two had met in the regular season. Aaron Rodgers playing about as well as he's played in a long time going into the game. And then Tom Brady, of course, with his new team, new environment, new weapons with Godwin and Evans. And hey, Ronald Jones, who has been running the ball well, and Rob Gronkowski, who showed up yesterday. And it looked early on like, hey, we might have a quarterback shootout because the Packers got up 10-0 pretty early. Aaron Rodgers was doing what Aaron Rodgers has done this year, getting out of the pocket, making throws from weird angles, just right on the money. He was looking good until he threw a pick six and then threw another interception that wasn't a pick six, but got the Bucs inside the 5. And then next thing you know, the Bucs have scored 14, 21, 28, 31, 38 unanswered points. And it was not the quarterback showdown that I think a lot of us would have liked to have seen. Now, I think that there's a good chance these two teams meet again in the playoffs. I don't think that yesterday is an indication that the Packers are trash, and I don't think yesterday is an indication that the Bucs are the best team in the NFC just because they slayed the undefeated Packers. But the Bucs did dominate the Packers, and it's the worst Aaron Rodgers has looked in a long time. And I think credit needs to go to Tampa Bay's defense. And other people have said this. This is not like this is some new thought that no one has discussed, but there remains so much attention on Tampa's offense, whether it's Brady and Arians getting used to one another, or Byron Leftwich, who's, the play caller, or just Brady in a Bucs uniform, which is just weird in and of itself, or Brady with all the weapons, and Rob Gronkowski being there. I mean, there's so many offensive storylines with Tampa Bay. That defense is really, really good. And they did it all yesterday without Vita Vea, who's a big run stopper in the middle of that line. Levante David is really, really good. And he came up and made some really good plays. That secondary did a really nice job. But that D-line for Tampa Bay is a really good group. And while I think the spotlight is understandably going to be on that offense, boy, it's that defense that could take them places this year, more so than the offense. As a matter of fact, I still think that if you were to get Tom Brady in a shootout, a game where he's got to throw it 30 to 40 times, I like my chances against Tampa. Not because of Godwin, Evans, Scotty Miller, Gronkowski. I think you could get Brady in trouble. But that D-line is really something. That defense is a really good group. Todd Bowles, who did not make it as a head coach, did not have success as a head coach, has done a great job with that defense. All right, the Texans-Titans game. Interesting scenario. Texans score a touchdown late in the game to go up 7. They choose to go for 2. If they get the 2-point conversion, the game's over. I mean, it would have taken a miracle for the Titans to get the touchdown and then get the ball back. They would have, likely required an onside kick. The Texans defense is no bueno. It's not a good group. I have zero issue with what the Texans did. As a matter of fact, I always feel like if it's happening against my team, sometimes I'm like, oh, thank gosh they're not going for 2. And, my team's going to have the ball with a chance to tie. I know that there's a difference between 7 and 8, and you're forcing that other team to, get those extra 2 yards on the 2-point conversion. But I think context matters here. Houston's defense, bad. Tennessee offense, good. You got a chance to win the game, and you don't lose the game by taking that chance. It's not like what Washington did. And that to me was odd because the defenses were playing well. But what Washington did in going for 2 against the Giants, it was do or die. It was We're either going to win or we're going to lose right here. By going for 2, when you get up 7 with the touchdown to make it 9 instead of 8, you don't lose if you don't get it. Your defense still has a chance to get the stop that they need. But what you're doing here is saying, hey, I got a chance to deliver a knockout punch. I'm going to take a chance that my offense can get me 2 yards to win the game rather than trusting my defense against a great offense. I have no issue with that. Now, if the score was, say, 13-6 with that touchdown and you're trying to make it 15-6, and the other team's got Putsy Bozo McGee as their quarterback, well, that's a different story. But Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, they were on the other side, and ultimately it was those two who delivered the comeback punch and then the knockout punch at overtime. But I have zero issue with the Texans making that decision. Speaking of Ryan Tannehill, let's just go to the Titans for number 3. I was wrong on Derrick Henry. Not that I scoured over hours and hours of draft or film of his. I watched him at Alabama, and because Alabama's Alabama, watched, every game. I didn't think he would be this good in the NFL. I didn't think he would be a guy that you never heard of or never heard from. But, I mean, Derrick Henry is a top 5 running back in the NFL, and maybe you say top 3, and I'm sure there's some people that would say, hey, this guy right now is the best running back in the NFL. I didn't envision us having that conversation. Last year, when Ryan Tannehill and the Titans went on this run, I didn't think that we would continue to have those conversations about Ryan Tannehill this year, about how good he was last year and how good he is. I thought maybe he would take a step back and just, be a bit of a manager. He's not, guys and girls. As a matter of fact, over his last 16 games and over Patrick Mahomes' last 16 games, and Mahomes is playing here tonight, but over his last 16 games, Ryan Tannehill has just 200 fewer passing yards. He's thrown for 6 more touchdowns, 2 more interceptions, so nothing major. His yards per attempt, higher, Tannehill's. His air yards per attempt, higher. His completion percentage, about 6 to 7 percentage points higher. This is not me saying I'm taking Ryan Tannehill over Patrick Mahomes. This is not me saying that Ryan Tannehill is better than Patrick Mahomes. This is me saying that Ryan Tannehill deserves to be in the conversation among the best quarterbacks in the NFL, at least over a 16-game stretch. He has shown that. Ryan Tannehill is really good, and he's doing it without some of the weapons as pass catchers that some of the other quarterbacks that we revere have. Corey Davis has been out with COVID. Yes, Derrick Henry is big in the pass catching world for them. Jonnu Smith has done a nice job. He's been one of the better tight ends in the NFL this year. But, if you're looking at, if you're looking for Amari, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup on the Tennessee Titans, you're just not going to find it. They got Adam Humphries. They got, as I mentioned, Corey Davis. Their stud is A.J. Brown, and he's really, really good. But, again, it's not like anyone would look at the Titans pass catchers and say, oh, this is one of the best groups in the league. Ryan Tannehill is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I think he needs to get that respect. All right, number 4. The Philadelphia Eagles lost yesterday to the Baltimore Ravens. I still think the Baltimore Ravens, I'm going to do my power rankings on Wednesday, and things could change in my head, just thinking about it. The Ravens, to me, second best team, no worse than third best team in the NFL. The Eagles came back and they played them close. A 22-point fourth quarter put the Eagles in a position to, come back and win the game. They ended up losing by 2. It did seem like, incidentally, as Miles Sanders and Zach Ertz left the game due to injuries, the Eagles offense started to figure things out. I'm not yet ready to say that the Eagles are going to win the NFC East. They're 1-4-1, and a Cowboys win tonight, which I don't think will happen, but a Cowboys win tonight could really give them some separation. I do wonder what the Eagles could look like when they get Alshon Jeffrey back, when they get Deshaun Jackson back, when they get Dallas Goedert back. I don't know if they're going to lose Miles Sanders for a significant amount of time. I don't suspect they're going to lose Zach Ertz for a significant amount of time. They do play the Giants on Thursday, quick turnaround, but it's the Giants. I guess my point is this. The Cowboys, even with Dak, weren't a good team. That wasn't Dak's fault. It's, this defense that has been atrocious. The Eagles offensively have been out of sorts. They honestly, I tweeted this yesterday. Philadelphia hasn't seen an offense this bad since the 2013-2014 76ers, led by Michael Carter Williams and like Jarvis Fernardo. Uh, but if they get these weapons back, this could make this offense better. They could make it, palatable, maybe more than palatable. Not great, but better. And I wonder if it's going to make them more of a threat to the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East, especially as we get ready for game one as a starter for Andy Dalton against the Cardinals tonight. All right, number 5, just some tidbits. Baker Mayfield ended up leaving the game against the Steelers due to a aggravation of a rib thing. I'm not sure whether he's going to miss, time or not. One thing that appears to be clear, and I don't have the next gen stats on this with Baker, it seems like he really struggles to make passes middle of the field within 10 or so yards of the line of scrimmage, 10 to 15 yards. Someone told me, hey, it's a height thing with Baker. He with the release, the height, he doesn't see the field well when he's just in the pocket trying to throw middle of the field. He sees the outsides better, and he obviously does a great job getting out of the pocket. But that's an issue. And I think that's a big reason why there's been some inconsistency, and maybe he hasn't been able to take that big leap from what was a really exciting and promising rookie year. He did it yesterday, that pick six. He was just sitting there. Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was there. I don't know that I have to see it from Baker's view. Didn't seem like Minkah Fitzpatrick was just hiding in the bushes. And Baker delivered a perfect pass to Minkah Fitzpatrick, who took it the other way for 6. So something to watch, something to just take note of with Baker. Adam Gase, head coach of the New York Jets. Not sure if, perhaps by the time you watch this video, maybe he's out. I don't know. One thing that's interesting about Adam Gase, they're every year their coaches on the hot seat. The fans have no issue saying this guy should be fired, this guy should be cut, this guy should be traded. Sometimes disgruntled players have no issue making veiled comments of the sort. Usually someone's peers will stand up for them or be more gentle, whether it's a quarterback assessing another quarterback, a broadcaster assessing another broadcaster, or a former NFL head coach, or someone whose relationships with head coaches are vital when assessing another head coach. Over the weekend, I saw someone whose relationship with head coaches is super important make a joke at Adam Gase's expense, saying the only reason the Jets shouldn't fire him is because he's their best chance at getting the number 1 overall pick. I've now seen, read, heard other former head coaches scratch their head as to why he's still around. That to me is pretty telling. Maybe this guy is going to be a great coordinator again, but it just seems like he is overmatched as a head coach. Does he have the best roster? No. The Jets are not very good, but week in, week out, he's making some questionable decisions that leave you scratching your head. Like his decision to delay a game yesterday on 4th and 2 to then ultimately punt instead of go for it when he was on the opposing team, the Dolphins' 38-yard line. What? That makes no sense. I think it's time for Adam Gase to go. Final thing, if you watch the Rams-Niners game, the game was iced on a Deebo Samuel little, and it was, I guess for all intents and purposes, it was a catch because Jimmy Garoppolo shoveled it forward. But we're seeing a lot more action from receivers possessing the ball behind the line of scrimmage, whether it's on a shovel pass that goes down in the box score as a reception or end arounds. And, the Giants run their end arounds with Evan Engram, sometimes their tight end. But we're seeing a lot more of, hey, let's get the receiver the ball laterally, and we'll figure out what to do with it. it's essentially a stretch play to some degree with the receiver. I don't have the numbers. It seems like we're seeing a lot more of that so far here this year. All right, that's my Monday high five NFL thoughts, and maybe some more with the tidbits there at the end. Thanks so much. Appreciate if you would subscribe, share, comment, like all this stuff. Really means a lot. Hope you have a great start to your week. We'll talk to you later.